Alright. Oh, man. I don't want to be right, but I think I'm about...
Turkish military now claiming to have captured a key Syrian border town, marking its most significant gain so far, as its offensive against Kurdish forces in northern Syria now enters a fourth day. Turkey pressing its assault and showing no signs of stopping despite mounting international criticism. Steve Harrigan is live in Erbil, Iraq with the latest. Steve.
That's right, Arthel. Turkey saying it's captured a major city inside the border, across the border into Syria, as well as several key highways. There has been no let-up in this four-day assault that Turkey is calling an operation against terrorism. Turkish warplanes continue to attack, and the shelling continues as well. The goal, Turkish officials say, is to drive 20 miles deep into Syria to create a buffer zone, a safety area.
That's a pretty reminiscent of the surge in Iraq in 2000, tail end of 2004 to the freaking tail end of, to the middle of 2008. Their plan is moving forward. Like, this is what you fucks don't understand.
Free from Kurdish fighters. Kurds are also resisting, lobbing shells across the border into Turkey. It's hard to get an
Stop choosing sides and just freaking be Republican for once, and just understand that freaking you have to be self-sufficient, and if you can't stand alone, then you can't stand for yourself.
A death toll from either side as to the number of fighters killed, but both sides admitting civilians have been killed on each side of the border, roughly 50 in total. As far as the situation goes for those civilians, those who can are fleeing from the fighting area as quickly and chaotically, really, as possible, getting onto whatever vehicle possible, carrying whatever they can. You really see families scrambling.
This reminds me of freaking, my brother was stationed in Bosnia and whatnot. He was a mechanic and whatnot, but that was, I want to say like 97-ish. And that's what I'm saying, is that they're expedited their activity.
UN saying as many as 100,000 people are now on the move trying to get away from the fighting. International criticism of Turkey President Erdogan has been intense. Criticism, too, from U.S. officials. U.S. saying there could be serious consequences.
The thing is that, are we going in, like, we're getting ready for a labor revolution. We're going through another feminist revolution and whatnot. This is like the 20s all over again. I mean, that's what this is. Where this is freaking, America doesn't want to go into any more wars, and so we're being forced to enter, World War III. Just like we don't need another Pearl Harbor, and that's what freaking, it's not about choosing sides, man. It's not about choosing sides. It's about freaking, they're all playing us. They are all playing us.
Also threatening possible financial sanctions against Turkey, but as of yet, no concrete steps to slow Turkey's military offensive.
Oh, man, freaking, no, that's scary.
Holding out in some areas, according to the Associated Press. So far, there have been at least 45 civilian deaths and 85 other injuries among Syrian Kurds, and 100,000 people have been displaced, according to the information center there. NBC's senior international correspondent, Keir Simmons, joins me from the ground near the Turkey-Syrian border. Keir, how's it looking?
Well, those towns are being fought over right across the border, and that's because they are crucial to both the Kurds and to the Turkish forces if they want to take control of this area. That town of Ras Alan, as you mentioned, the Turkish forces saying that they took it, then the Kurdish forces saying they pushed back. So it does appear that the mostly Kurds forces in opposition to the Turks, are fighting back despite the overwhelming force that Turkey has against them, and that includes artillery, That includes air power. The Turkish forces, the Kurdish forces, I'm sorry, just begging for help in reports coming out today. But at the same time, saying that they are also fighting over another road, a crucial road, the M4, which stretches right along that Syrian border. Again, if Turkey manages to take control of that, then it will make the position for the Kurds very, very difficult.
All right, Keir Simmons joining us from the border there in Syria and Turkey on the very latest on that conflict. Thank you. Well, still ahead.
Breaking news this hour, day 4 of Turkey pounding Kurdish territory near the Syrian border. NBC's Richard Engel was in one Kurdish
It's shock and awe.
town when it came under attack.
Here at the front lines, it is mostly deserted. The Kurds are trying to stay off these exposed roads. Behind you. Multiple artillery rounds from the direction of Turkey exploded a few hundred yards behind us. We left and saw this car was hit, killing a man inside.
Last night, a group of U.S. soldiers came under artillery fire near Kobane, forced to leave the area after that attack. And a new video of U.S. troops in Syria shows this convoy heading right towards the Iraq border. Let's go live now to Erbil, the capital of Kurdistan. Bill Neely is there, NBC's chief global correspondent, on a dark and windy night. Hey, Bill, you've got U.S. troops that are not actively involved in this conflict, but that does not appear that they are out of danger.
No, Alex, you're absolutely right. And yes, you do join us in the middle of a storm, but the real storm is on the battlefield. And as you say, U.S. troops are not out of it. And it brought a warning today from the U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper to Turkey to de-escalate this invasion before, as he put it, the situation becomes irreparable. Now, it's not clear who exactly fired towards those U.S. troops, Alex. A lot of the troops...
What do you mean it's not clear? Freaking, there was numerous reports about freaking danger close coming to freaking U.S. troops. Don't tell me it's unclear. Don't give me that propaganda BS.
On the ground are actually Syrian rebels under Turkish command, but the Turks have most of the artillery, and that it does look like it was an artillery or a mortar strike. So yes, President Trump withdrew special forces from the actual borderline, but there are still U.S. troops in that area, and of course, about 1,000 U.S. troops in Syria overall. Meanwhile, today, more fierce fighting on day 4. It's now street to street. In one town, the death toll clearly rising, although the figures are contested. The Turkish Defense Ministry saying they've killed more than 400 Kurdish fighters. The Kurdish Red Crescent saying at least 60 civilians have been counted as dead. And the Turks are pushing on in spite of an international backlash. The US warning that its relations with Turkey are in grave danger. Germany has stopped arms sales to Turkey. The Arab League has condemned it for its invasion of Arab lands, but Turkey pushes on. President Erdogan defiant, saying we will not listen to what anybody says and we will not give way to threats. But Alex, those threats are increasing. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin saying that we can shut down Turkey's economy if we want to, but Turkey still defiant, Alex.
Yeah, and the president backing that up by saying sanctions would be pretty horrific for them if he decides to go that route. Bill Neely, thank you so much there from Erbil. Appreciate it.
We're getting ready for war.